hearts cry out in the night as they grow restless, longing for some solitary company. I know that I must do what's right, sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti. I seek to cure what's deep inside, frightened of this thing that I've begun. It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. The rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never my favorite. Gentlemen, welcome to my show. My show. I have an amazing night planned for you all. Tonight's show will contain love, loss, tragedy, skill beyond belief. Let me tell you how it begins, okay? So, the main character is going to come in through here, and then he's going to begin to... He's going to come in, and then he is going to start beginnings. You know, funny thing about beginnings, actually. They're my favorite part of any story. And suddenly, I'm reminded of this friend that I once knew. He was 4 years old when he was put into the care system. I remember him telling me about his oversized Treasure Planet pajamas. For any of you who remember that gem of the movie. And I remember him telling me when he woke up, he thought he was on holiday. And then All morning he played Connect 4. He's lived in 3 places throughout his time in the care system. One in a place called Churchill, which is a really small town, not much to do, barely anybody his own age. A lot of buildings, empty buildings, some taken over by nature. Then a bigger town, Letterkenny. Still not much to do, but enough for a kid his age. Funny enough, whenever he left, it became a hustle and bustling city, so. And then finally, a small coastal town called Buncrana, where he spent most of his significant years. And to be honest, a lot of old people live there. He had his first girlfriend there, his first kiss, his first breakup, all the things that are necessary to go through life. And now he's in university. Beginnings, right? Beginnings. Beginnings. Sorry, let me get back to the story that I was going to tell you. So, the main character, he lives in this small village, but he wants to leave. He wants to go travel the world. But his family and his friends just won't let him. They don't think he's ready. So, what does the main character do? He decides to go and prove himself. He decides to prove to himself and his family that he's ready to go and see the world by himself. There's going to be a huge, huge spotlight coming down here. It's going to be so bright, it's going to be amazing. There's going to be this huge, huge oil painting of what the village will look like. It'll be beautiful. Some amazing artists worked on these. Like, they'll come out later and you can talk to them. Big riser. Huge, huge riser here. Set's going to look amazing. Now, how the main character proves himself. He goes through a trial. This is the best part of the show. It's going to take up the huge portion of the stage, and you're going to see it. It's going to be... I had this friend once. He went through a trial. A really tough trial. One second. He was with his girlfriend for about 4 weeks, and he was 14. And after those 4 weeks, he got bored. And what do you do when you're bored in a relationship at 14? You break up. So he was all alone. Nothing but his 2 hands to keep him company at night. And then, over the summer, after they broke up, his ex-girlfriend got with someone else. Now, I actually will tell you that the person that I want to say didn't want to have his name mentioned in the show. So Jordan Byron, his name was. He went out with his ex-girlfriend, and he was fucking crazy. Do you want to know how I know that? He was a skater. One second. So, everything was going fine until some rumors started popping up that my friend was making fun of Jordan Byron's autism. You know, texts, deliberations, dick measuring contests, until finally my friend only remembers the small parts of that day, like the weather, what he was wearing. He was walking home one day and he heard talking from behind him. He just didn't pay any heed. And he wished he did. Then all of a sudden, Jordan Byron popped up in front of him. Words were exchanged. And then all of a sudden, my friend was lying on the floor. All I could see was yellow. Jordan Byron even, kicked him a few times. He promised himself that day that that would never happen again. And he would get buff and strong and get really fit and go to the gym every day. It never happened to him again. It's just crazy what kind of trials life throws at you. Sorry, I got distracted again. Okay, let me get back to the next part of the story. So, the main character proves himself, and he's able to leave his small village. And on his travels, who does he meet? But her! She will be your favorite character in this entire piece. By the end, you will be applauding for her. She's that amazing. Now, these two hit it off right away, and they go out adventuring together because she wants to see the world too. Now, on their travels, they hear this murmuring of this evil army trying to come and take his village. Now, this evil army is horrible. They go to nations and take cultures and replace them with their own. What kind of army could do that? Actually, one does come to mind. I can't remember their name. It'll come back to me. But that reminds me of a story of when my best friend's grandfather was a part of a day that my people were fending off this horrible, evil army. The year was 1916. And the Irish rebels were fending off this evil, horrible army that were trying to take their country. And while the rebels were in there fighting for their freedom, my best friend's grandfather was nowhere near it. He was out looting somewhere, actually taking advantage of the carnage. One sec. He was getting everything that caught his eye, anything, from maybe a radio to some food. And then all of a sudden, he got shot in the head. And the people who shot him had some bulletproof reasoning for why they did it. He was probably a rebel. How could you argue with that? Sorry, this is the last time that will happen, I swear. So, the dynamic duo fend off this evil army from the village. They save their village. And what do you do after an occasion like that? You party, of course. So, what's going to happen is, there's going to be this huge party scene. People will be drinking Guinness. They'll be drinking whatever alcohol they want. There'll be this huge table right in the middle, like the ones you see from Harry Potter. Huge lines of food all over the place. People will be dancing, they'll be singing, they'll be cheering their lungs out. Before I finish telling you what's going to happen in the show, I need to tell you this amazing night out that I once had, actually. It started off pretty good, actually. I arrived at my friend's house, where we were having our pre-drinks. And then right after me, my friend comes through the door. Now, he was already really drunk at the time, so we were just laughing, having some fun. And when we left the house, I saw him doing the bicycle on the pavement outside the house. And then once we got there, he was spilling drinks, he was kind of being annoying, it was getting to the point of the night where we had to give him water. And when we gave him the water, he took it and poured it in the ground. One sec. Then, all of a sudden, my friend comes bursting through the door, saying, I'm gonna kill him, I'm gonna really get him. And we were all going, what's wrong, what happened? Apparently, my friend started like windmilling my other friend, and he ran down the road. Everyone was still laughing because they had no idea what the context was, of course. 10, 15 minutes later go by, nothing, and then another 10 minutes go by. And then somebody comes through the door. Hey, we found him. He's outside. He's in the other pub. Oh, great. We all run out to greet him saying, where were you? And then all the smiles and the laughter stopped when 3 bouncers were on top of him while he was flailing around, not knowing where he was, saying really weird things that he would never normally say. And then finally, he bit the bouncer's leg, and the bouncer kneed him and knocked him out. He ended up in the back of a Garda car that night. Police car for the uneducated. And then woke up in a cell the next morning, not knowing why or where he was. And he's never been the same after that. I've never seen him on a night out proper ever since. So that's the things with night outs. They could end with an explosion, or they can just end really abruptly.